There we go. Okay, yeah, almost. I gotta stop doing that. But now is about the time for a pre-workout restock. If you, well, I mean, let's be real. What percentage, like if you're watching this, I can almost guarantee you take pre. There might be, there's a couple kind of stragglers where, and I've never understood this mindset, before, but the idea is, well, I don't want to take pre-workout because I don't want to be reliant on it. What if I got to work out when I'm traveling and I don't have my pre? What am I going to do then? Shit, man, deal with it. It's, I mean, it's not that, I don't think it's that deep. The benefits that I'd say I've accrued or, benefited from actually being properly caffeinated and, getting my nitric oxide and blood flow and just overall, like, there's like 4 main points of pre-workout. There's energy, stims, there's kind of blood flow, nitric oxide, glycerol, there's like a couple of other ones. I haven't looked into the specifics for a little while. And then, kind of like mental focus when you get into the like lion's mane, not full on nootropic, and then like kind of endurance. I forget which. I don't remember the specific one. I don't know. It's but either way, now would be the time. So I'll put a link down below. I'd certainly recommend perusing the Raw Nutrition website because everything's 40% off, but some things go up to 75%. So, I mean, if you kind of follow the Costco mentality, or not the Costco mentality, but like I think it's the Mark Cuban approach. I guess it would probably make the most sense to buy a full year's supply during like Black Friday or like some kind of really big sale, and then not buying it the rest of the year because you already have it all then. Now, I'm not saying to do that, but I'm just saying, it doesn't go bad. At least not, it's got an expiration date, but just look it up for yourself. But yeah, something to look at for sure. I know I've been slamming the Thavage. So there's like 3 different levels. There's like Bum Essential, which is kind of just standard like caffeine, citrulline, beta-alanine, and then there's standard tier that they call Thavage. So that's basically everything you'd expect. And then there's it's a super Thavage. They're kind of playing into that, and that's just a little bit of an extra jolt caffeine wise. But I'll put a link to that below if you want to go check it out. So for me, caffeine intake, it'll increase, but I'm not one to like push the limit. Like I don't need to come in totally cracked out of like, I don't think I've never even done, I think I've never touched 700 milligrams of caffeine. 600 I've dabbled up to, especially dieting, deep into prep earlier this year. I was doing, it was probably about 400 milligrams for the workout, depending on the workout. And then usually I'd get an extra energy drink for cardio after, because I would do a full-on workout followed by an hour of cardio. I'm going to try not to have to get to the point to need to do an hour in the morning and an hour at night during this prep. But, I guess we'll see what happens, right? You got to move the scale somehow. So whether that's more cardio or less calories, you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, so far I've been just hanging out around, I think about 200, just about 200, 250 milligrams. That's about right. That's a good amount of caffeine. I actually feel it. I do get a little more pep in my step, but I don't need the response of like feeling my heart going, or I've never actually like overdone it with the caffeine to feel that, but yeah, I guess that's my recommendation. No need to overdo it. Plus, I mean, if you're slamming 600 milligrams worth of caffeine in your pre, you're overdoing it on every other active ingredient more than you need to. It's I mean, maybe that's up for debate, but I think the working number for, I don't know. I mean, it changes depending on the weight of the dude. If I'm 250, Actually, no, what am I saying? Shit, I'm 241. I'm 241 this morning. Damn. In my mind, I'm 250, but I'm actually 241. But either way, I'm going to need, I would imagine I'm going to need a little more pre-workout than the 180-pound dude. So a lot of these numbers are kind of generalized, but you're not going to get much more, if anything more, out of, 2,000, or not 2,000, double the recommended amount of citrulline or arginine and, everything else. So at that point, maybe just get caffeine on the side so that your pre actually lasts longer, But either way, enough pre-talk. Plan for the lift today with quads is really just to go freaking nuts. In a good way, though, because I've got two constraints that I want to make sure I don't overdo. There's a trash truck or some kind of something in front of me where they're a little bit too tall for this bridge, so they got to figure out how to turn around. But the two things that I want to make sure that I don't do when I'm dieting down for quads is I don't want to overdo it and then have quads that are sore for like a week, or even getting a little bit longer than that. Which if I totally overdo it, tons of heavy pressing, squats, heavy leg extensions, maybe a little bit too much volume, combined with a calorie deficit, then I think I really can overtrain my quads. But that's in a dieting down, essentially starvation mode diet. So that's if you're bulking, I think go as crazy as possible, destroy your quads. But dieting, I got to pull back a little bit, just hit them enough to stimulate, not annihilate, as Lee Haney once said. I'm 96% sure it was him. And number two is I don't want to wreck my knees. I don't want sore patella or MCL or whatever. Like, I want my knees to feel good. I don't want to have to come in and think, oh, no leg extension for me today because I went too heavy on leg extensions, or maybe I overdid it on leg press, or any which way in between, right? So those are the two things that change with my into a diet. I never want hurt knees even when I'm bulking, but dieting down, I'm a little extra careful. So usually I like probably 50-50, or maybe more like 60-40 heavy sets to light squeezing sets. Like when I'm bulking up, I definitely lean a bit heavier, more like straight working sets with some light squeezing on the side. And when I diet, it kind of flips. So the volume becomes a little bit more light squeezing, because all I'm going to do if I go too heavy is not only risk hurting myself, but in the worst case, actually hurt myself. And then you're freaking screwed, So I know it's not cool. It doesn't feel super cool, but sometimes you got to back off a touch. And that's just, I'm cool with that because it goes back and forth. Like it's, if I know that I really brought it and I lifted super heavy weights, to a degree, and I was big and strong in my off season, now I can kind of back off, let everything chill out. If I have residual micro tears or tendon problems or just, whatever, just little bits of soreness. For me to diet for a few months, relax on the overall weight and heft, it's kind of a deload phase, So I still want to go hard. Like I want these workouts to be hard, heavy to a degree, and real. Like I'm not trying to slack, but it is just a little bit of a different time period because the goal has changed. The goal is no longer, a crew size, fucking destroy whatever the hell I'm hitting on whatever day. Now it's okay, stimulate, stick to my diet, make sure I do my cardio, and don't go off track, right? Kind of stuff like that. And I guess even just explaining it like that now, I understand the, not the disdain, but I understand why the dieting side of things gets, it's got so much of a, not a bad rap, but just, it kind of gets hated on because it's not as fun. It's like doing your homework, it's doing your chores, it's there's no instant reward. Even in doing them, sometimes people get a little turned off. Like, you're gonna sit in the cardio bike for an hour? You're gonna sit in the treadmill for an hour? I'm not saying you have to do an hour. I'm just saying in general. Like, dude, come on. dude, we're going to B-dubs. You're coming, and you better not bring a little thing of Tupperware, man. You're eating, right? We're all getting boneless wings because it's buy one, get one, and you better eat 50 of them. Or insert any situation like that. It's the odds are against you. I'm sure if someone had the legitimate statistics of, let's say you took 100 people and all of them legitimately said they were going to diet, they want to do it, they're going to do it this time. What percentage of them really make it happen? Imagine you've got a little accountant, like a little kind of magic sort of guy on your shoulder watching you all the time. If you really counted the numbers and watched everything that you did, I'm sure after a year you'd be a little bit surprised how many calories he would tally up in eating random desk candy, or how many times you got sun chips out of the vending machine because you're like, it's sun chips, man. It's better than Lay's. It's actually healthy. It's got like natural marketing on the label, dude. This is awesome. I'm being healthy right now, And the cost is, you don't get to eat something that makes you feel good. It's if you were to somehow put a bunch of probes onto my head or in my brain or whatever that could measure my dopamine release on like a very not deep, but like a very primal level. If you gave me a bowl of plain ground beef with some salt and pepper, I would never eat that. I'm going to add like a sugar-free barbecue sauce. But let's just say, for argument's sake, like straight up, just half pound of ground beef, some salt and pepper. What are my dopamine readings at? I'm probably a little higher because I'm still eating food. That's kind of one of your, not even primal urges, just like biological needs. So your mind's going to reward you for eating food. But if you put a big ass caniac in front of me, 5 extra breads, 5 extra tenders, 5 extra sauces, and a big ass Sprite, and whatever your pastry of choice is, whether it's crumble or Krispy Kreme or whatever, next to it as a dessert, before I even eat the food, I'm sure those dopamine levels in my mind are gonna already be up here because I know what's coming. I know I've got a treat coming, right? So you somehow have to basically willpower yourself to prefer the greater plan of getting leaner rather than the instant gratification of, eating a bunch of canes and picking out like Nikocado avocado, right? So it's hard to do. I'm not saying it's easy, but I am saying it's simple. Like there's no trick, there's no whatever, and it gets easier the more you do it. At this point, I've bulked up and subsequently cut down, only to show ready leanness once. But I've gone back and forth from being pretty lean to pretty soft a lot. It helps that I work out all the time and that I do my cardio and I count my calories. But I've had practice basically telling myself no and sticking to my plan. So I think that's something which is certainly tricky, but the more you do it, the better you get at it, the easier it becomes. And then you get to a point where you don't even really think about it. Like these last few months, I haven't felt like I've been dying. I've gotten substantially leaner so far, and I'll get substantially leaner in the coming weeks. And I know what it'll take to make it happen. So I also know I'd feel like a punk if I didn't do it, because I'm like, all I got to do is not eat something. Is that the hardest thing in the world? Like kind of an internal dialogue. Like, what am I, 5 years old? I can't keep my hand out of the cookie jar, right? So whatever kind of headspace you want to get into to think about that and like get yourself motivated, maybe imagine I'm there. I'm sitting there in spirit, watching you open up the fridge and eat half a tub of Ben and Jerry's, or like any kind of orange vanilla swirl, like anything creamsicle. I'd say that's probably one of my vices. That would get me. I wouldn't be so intrigued by like a chocolate, but if you put an orange vanilla swirl in the freezer, I might take a bite. Something along those lines. But imagine I'm there, right? What do you want me to do? Look at you and say, I knew you was going to eat it. I knew he was gonna do it. Wasn't even worth trying. Like straight out of a Christmas Carol. I'm one of those freaking ghosts. And the other two is like I don't know. Whoever the other two are would also judge you at the same time. But either way, I'm gonna get started. I might. No. I'm gonna have to cut the cardio session from post workout, because after quads, I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think there's an awesome point to sitting and pedaling. I think I need my quads to jumpstart the recovery. So I think just quads, and then I'll do maybe 45 minutes of cardio tonight to kind of balance that out. And quads are a big muscle group, so the workout of doing quads is going to burn more calories than like an arm workout. I don't know. It always balances itself out. I'd recommend, this will be the finishing point of this ramble, but I'd recommend post-workout cardio, 20 minutes, 30 minutes on the bike after any lift, probably butt quads. Because, I mean, if I just finish an awesome chest day, I don't want to sit and use my chest in like a cardio manner. I want to let it relax and chill. So quads is the one day you can not do your post-workout cardio. But then you should probably just do a little bit extra in that non-lifting session. But, that assumes that you're doing that. So I got nothing else to say there. How about we just get in there and get started? So this is more so to do with just the overall weight load of this Arsenal leg extension. But if I were to double leg this one on the side of me, I might be getting close to the freaking full stack. But right at 70, I'm good here. So this one also has a very different strength curve, because there's basically two different ways of loading extensions and curls. So here, it's kind of got this lever, sort of pulley looking thing, so the force is very flat. Like if I had a scale on the end of my shins, it would read similar values across the entire rep. Whereas here, since this is more of like a lever with just a pulley attached to the end of it, it basically just feels heavier at the bottom and a little lighter at the top. So the benefit is I get a lot of tension in the bottom, so the reps are still hard, but since it gets a little lighter at the top, I can really squeeze. Whereas a very flat strength curve machine, by the time you kind of get close to that failure range, there's not much to squeeze, because you can't even get up there, So it's not to say that it's objectively better or worse, but it's just different. And different is good. So let's get this set started. All right. Okay, I lied. Let's actually do two more here, because these feel a little bit better than I thought they would for today. And then let's go do a leg press in the corner. Not too heavy, but heavy enough. Okay, let's move on. Let's do some sissy squats into leg press. All right, so there's only 6 plates on both sides, and usually my full strength working sets here are like 11. But what I'm gonna do to make it heavier is by doing sissy squats first to pre-exhaust. So if I do 15 sissy squats and then jump on here, this 6 might feel like 9, you know, something along those range, or along those lines. But either way, let me get amped up. Okay, one more of those. And then back to leg extensions to finish, I think. Whew. All right, let's do one more. So, so if there's 6 plates, and now one side just got one more, what does that make? That's stupid. Yeah. Okay. Holy shit. Oh, okay. Let's finish with a set of leg extensions. Let's see how quads are looking. Oh my God. Let's do a light-ish squeezing set of leg extensions, followed by sissy squats, followed by a pose down. I gotta readjust some of this stuff. This is a little close for comfort, but I'll save that for another day. Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. Whew. All right. Let's see what we're looking like. All right, so that wasn't the longest workout in the freaking world, but very good, very solid. I wanted to peel back a little bit on the heft, but I think I may, I don't know. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I like tell myself I could do more in terms of weight, and then if I do, well, I'm gonna freaking tweak my knee or something, and then I'm gonna feel like a total fool, you know. So it's hard to freaking win. But yeah, I guess well, the shorts are kind of hinting at it. But let's actually get a good look at what's going on here. It doesn't hurt to be leaner, because then when you're in shorts, you feel cooler because you see your quads kind of shooting out. I never really, I mean, except for like the really long ones, I just don't rock shorts a ton, because when I'm dieting, historically it's been in the winter time, and then I'm cold, and when I'm bulked, well, I'm just not going to wear shorts as much. But yeah, we got something going on, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, shit, that's a lot of lines in the calf. That's for freaking sure. Nice. So, I used to do tibia raises. So you've got a bunch of muscle on the front of your calf that raises your foot. For a little while, I leaned up against a wall, and if you raise your toes off the ground, it works the front of your shin. I don't think you need a ton of work there, but if you do, or if you actually kind of develop it a little, it does make your calves look substantially freaking cooler. Let's get a little breath hold, and then we can get out of here. Oh my gosh. But yeah, this is definitely the veiniest. Okay, now I gotta do one more. Veiniest quad pump of the diet so far. That is for freaking sure. And that's what I want to see. So, fast forward another month, or even just another few weeks, I'll probably say the same thing again, because, you know, in that much time, then that lift will be the freakiest. And then it just kind of keeps scaling forward like that. So I've got a little bit more leanness to look forward to every freaking workout. That definitely helps me get going. But let's pack this shit up. Roll. Okay, some time has passed since that quad pump, and I'm actually getting ready to go back to do some cardio for later. So I think I'll make that I got to get back onto a good schedule, because I keep freaking what's perfect for me is when, let me plug in the directions, I don't remember where I'm at, but what's perfect for me is when I work out and then post that workout the next day. So when I'm on like a 1-day delay, that's pretty much sweet. But the last couple weeks, just from like traveling, I've been on like a same day kind of loop. So it's good to kind of be home for a while and sort of chill out. But a couple of things picked up, a little bit of Christmas shopping, and also just some freaking food. So I got a bunch of sashimi, half tuna, half salmon. The salmon, you know, I'm definitely gonna make sure I calculate in the fat content, but the sashimi is freaking sweet. So if you're a little bit less prone to, you know, liking anything fishy, then I guess it'll kind of throw you off your game. But I mean, you could probably smack 2 pounds of tuna in front of me with some soy sauce and wasabi. I mean, that's freaking perfect. You know, I've never gives me any kind of stomach issue or anything. It's a little freaky getting like frozen tuna from the store and then thawing it and having it, because it's like, is it really sushi grade? Like, sure, you froze it, so any like parasites that might have been in there, you'd hope were killed off by the freezing process. But I mean, whatever. Don't freak out about it too much. But that's what I want to make most of my meals going forward, where the protein portion is really the meat and potatoes, and so it's actually a bit more filling, because carbs are low, man. I've got to spread out the amount of carbs that I would probably just eat in one sitting. If for me to just sit and eat maybe like steak and rice, or like a thing of cereal, or a big ass bowl of oatmeal, for me to eat a really big bowl where I can get my fill and say, nice, oh, that's a lot of food, I've got to now spread that across the whole day, so not as fun, but all that does is kind of change the game, where now I got to make it last. That actually kind of sucks for me right now. Maybe I'll try to find someone, hold on to some of the cooler ones, but I have bins upon bins of clothes, especially from college, because I would always pick up extra, just random shirts and stuff. And I guess that's an unspoken or an unreferenced angle that I kind of forget about. As you get bigger, a badass shirt that you might have had before, it's not going to fit. I even kind of planned for that a little bit, because when I was younger and smaller, when I was 170, 180, I was wearing 2XL long sleeve t-shirts, and at the time they were baggy, they were oversized. I was still 170 pounds, pretty much mostly muscle, maybe 10% body fat or so, but they were big shirts. And at the time I'm nice, I'm building underneath, eventually I'm going to fill this shirt out. And then I got to the point where the shirts fit like normal, and then I had to fold them up, and I never touched them again because they were too freaking small. So that's depending on where your end weight is on your horizon, sometimes it might be better to go a little bit oversized and plan to grow into it, because who's to say you didn't just get your favorite shirt in the freaking world, and then a year later, you can never wear it again, right? So I guess that's a little bit of a takeaway there. Try to prep for the clothes that you might fill into. That's definitely a theme in my freaking closet. I do not have anything too tight, unless it's supposed to be tight. I've got a couple. They're not. They're kind of compression. They're not really compression shirts. There's I don't know if it's still on the website, because they're always kind of releasing new stuff. But I've got there's this one black kind of cottony Gymshark shirt, where it's literally all black, it's very subtle. So as I get colder, I start doubling up layers. So fast forward a month or so, especially when it's going to be 0 degrees getting into the car, I'm going to have to drive to the gym in 2 pairs of pants, a long sleeve shirt, probably a short sleeve shirt kind of on top, 2000 skater style, and then a hoodie, just so that I'm not freeze my freaking butt off, and I can come into the gym already kind of warm. There's definitely, it's no fun if you come in and you're just stiff, being all freaking cold. No, not even a little bit. But yeah, so pretty good quad day, and it's it's not as fun. I'm already kind of predicting, because I'm always scanning the comments. So especially on these days, I'll look down and it's only 2 different exercises for your quads. What the fuck kind of workout is this? Or what the frick kind of workout is this? Sorry about that. And I'm well, go back 6 months. There were some pretty badass quad days of super heavy squats and 4 sets of leg press in a row with 12 plates or whatever. It's just not a hefty training phase. But that's okay. That's okay, because my kind of mental game of not only being okay with that, but still being excited about it, is I know that I'm just getting ready for more intense training going forward, right? So this is kind of a back off period, and then crazier lifts start to come. But that's all I got today, so I'll see you freaking tomorrow.